Many problems plague modern societies. One of the most prevalent issues that spans across many societies is gender inequality. Even in Western civilizations, many women are mistreated. Many women fall victim to oppressive law systems, gender-based discrimination, femicide, and sexual violence. Despite the staggering number of women suffering, the issues faced by women outside of Western countries is often ignored. The oppression of women is founded on historical and structural power imbalances. This oppression and the violence that many women endure is related to their lack of power and control, as well as social norms that prescribe men and women's roles in society. These norms accept and allow abuse. Inequalities between men and women exist in public and private spheres of life, and across social, economic, cultural, and political rights. They are manifested in restrictions and limitations on women's freedoms, choices, and opportunities. These inequalities can increase women's and girls' risks of abuse, violent relationships, and exploitation due to economic dependency and limited survival and options for earning income, or as discrimination under the law as it relates to marriage, divorce, healthcare, and child custody rights.
Dinner. Which doll is stronger? Which one cleans the house? Which doll goes to work? Okay. Which doll likes to go shopping? Which doll plays sports? Which one does the laundry? Okay.
Oppressive law systems exist in countries around the world. One of the most oppressive law systems is Sharia law, which is in place in many Middle Eastern countries and in parts of Indonesia. Women forced to live under Sharia law are viewed as if they are disposable. In cases of rape, the testimonies of 4 male witnesses are required to prove the rape of a female. If a woman or girl alleges rape without producing 4 male witnesses, she is viewed as guilty of adultery. If a woman or girl is found guilty of adultery, she will be put to death, while a man convicted of adultery would simply be lashed. Any male that is convicted of rape can have his conviction dismissed by marrying his victim. A man is also able to marry an infant girl and consummate the marriage when she is only 9 years old. There is also inequality in terms of divorce. While a man can unilaterally divorce his wife, a wife needs her husband's consent to divorce. A divorced wife loses custody of all children over 6 years of age, and those younger than that will stay with her until they reach that age. In court, a woman's testimony carries half the weight of a man's, and any female heir inherits half of what a male heir would inherit. And if any woman dares to speak out or act in opposition to her husband, she risks being put to death. In non-Sharia countries, inequality is still an issue, even if it does not reach the extreme abuse of Sharia. Many women are denied the right to education simply based on gender. This problem occurs most frequently in Arab states and in parts of Asia, and is principally explained by the cultural and traditional treatment given to males. The attitude in these countries is that girls are destined to work in the home, while boys are entitled to receive an education. Of all the non-schooled population worldwide, 54% are women. In sub-Saharan Africa, over 12 million girls are at risk of never being educated. In Yemen, more than 80% of girls will never have the opportunity to go to school. Some countries, such as Afghanistan or Somalia, make no effort to reduce the gap between the genders in regards to education.
This word seems a bit complex, but it simply means the right to learning. And when I come to these stages, speak at the UN, or give a Nobel Peace Prize speech, I simply ask that the right to learning should be given to every child. I ask for nothing else.
Within the workforce, women are also discriminated against. For example, in many patriarchal societies, such as those under Sharia, Women cannot get jobs without the consent of her husband. There are also more women than men in poorly paying, poorly protective jobs that violate basic human rights. Despite women's increasing levels of education, there are still discriminatory attitudes that often prevent women from entering the workforce or being promoted to higher ranks. Gender discrimination within the workplace leads to decreased productivity, damaged morale, and high employee turnover. The disproportionate burden of work within the household also restricts many women from taking up paid jobs, undertaking advanced education and skills training, and participating in public life. The consequences of gender discrimination are seen worldwide. Many women experience forms of hatred that include, but is not limited to, domestic violence, rape, sexual violence, and harmful customary practices such as female genital mutilation, forced marriages, and being put to death for bringing dishonor to their family in many nations under Sharia law. Many infant girls are put to death simply because they are female, and many terminate their pregnancies if the fetus is female. This killing of women and girls is known as femicide. While women have been oppressed for generations, the problem does not need to persist forever. If nothing is done, more innocent people will be denied basic human rights. A few solutions that have been proposed include reducing socialization by parents and other adults of girls and boys into traditional gender roles, increasing public consciousness of the reasons for, extent of, and consequences of rape and sexual assault, standing behind others that fight for gender equality, spreading awareness of the oppression of women worldwide, and providing resources for organizations that work to empower women and give them an education. If these solutions are put into effect and countries around the world rally in support of equality, the world will be a better place for the next generation of young girls.